Thank you, Dave. As the temperatures go up and people start heading to area pools and lakes, we're talking about National Water Safety Month. News 5's Rebecca Pepin has the details.
It is National Water Safety Month, and we're going to have all kinds of water safety tips this week on News 5 and Fox 39 as kids get out of school for the summer. And I'll be sharing the story of a family who lost their 3-year-old to drowning.
We did not give him the right information about water that he really deserves to have.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous. It just is, period. It is deadly.
According to the CDC, drowning is the #1 cause of death for children ages 1 to 4. And nearly 70% of toddler drownings occur during non-swim times. That's why experts recommend layers of protection like supervision, fences, locks that you check regularly, motion detection cameras, and alarms. And also, they say you should remain vigilant even when you're not planning to be in the water.
Sometimes there's been a breach in the fence or in the lock or something like that, and you aren't aware of it because it's happened during a storm or a dog or something like that may have jumped on it. So you want to make sure that you not only have it safe, but you check to make sure that it's remaining safe.
I mean, we were taking water safety seriously. I mean, we thought we were doing everything right. Watch your kids when they're swimming. Put them in a flotation device because like most people, we thought drowning happened when they were swimming.
The risk for drowning for teenagers is also high. Experts say that's because teens are more likely to overestimate their skills and underestimate dangerous situations. Also, drinking can be a factor. Stay with News 5 on air and online for more water safety tips. Kids are getting out of school for the summer. There's excitement in the air, but experts are reminding us about the importance of remaining vigilant around water. For example, Coast Guard approved life jackets in open water, even if you think you're a good swimmer. As for pool safety, don't forget those layers of protection, supervision, a fence, a lock that you check regularly, and even cameras with motion sensors. And there are alarms available on the market that go off when the water is disturbed. The operations director at the YMCA of Bristol, Suzanne Wantlin, also wants to remind people that this is a very dangerous time of year as swimmers can overestimate their current ability.
So this is what they call a shoulder season. So a lot of the children haven't been in lessons, haven't been in the water that much. They're really excited. They're getting out of school. And it puts them more at risk because once they get in the water and they start, it's just like any other kind of sport or activity. Once you do it, then you get stronger, you get more confident, you get more competent. But at the shoulder season is when they think they can do what they did last year, maybe not yet. So it's always good to refresh those skills and to make sure that you have appropriate supervision, you have those life jackets for them if they need them, and that you work them into what you did at the end of last year.
We'll have more water safety tips all this week on News 5 at 11, and I've placed details about quality survival swim classes on our website, WCYB.com.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Casey Getz. It is National Water Safety Month at News 5's Rebecca Pepin has an important demonstration on how to choose the right life jacket.
We are heading into swimming season, and I wanted to bring in the operations director at the YMCA of Bristol to talk about the importance of getting the appropriate life jacket. A lot of people will be out on the lake this summer, Suzanne, and we want to make sure that we are doing this safely.
Right. We do want to make sure that people are safe, and there are a couple things to think about as you're getting a life jacket and making sure it fits. They come in sizes. You also need to make sure that they're Coast Guard approved. This is one for an infant, and so their head would actually be here. So if they do fall in, it's going to put them in the floating position that you want them, and it has a between the leg straps so that it can't do what we call turtling. And so here's a life jacket on, and you can see how it comes up. So that's turtling because it'll come when it gets wet and the nylon stretches, it can go up in front of her mouth where she wouldn't be able to breathe well or call out for help. So you always want to make sure that it's not going to do that. The one over here, you can see, is nice and snug. So that would be a better fit. If you're picking them out, go ahead, try them on the kids and let them see how it fits. This one right over here is for a child a little bit bigger than an infant, so it's a toddler. So it doesn't have this back head part, but yet it still has the in between the leg strap so that it would keep it from rising up too far. One thing to think about is that when they get wet, the nylon will stretch. So once they get in the water, it's always good to snug it back up.
All right, thank you so much, Suzanne, and thank you to our beautiful models, Maddie and Avery. Many students are getting out of school this week, and a lot of them heading to area pools and lakes for the holiday weekend. As part of National Water Safety Month, I sat down with an expert to find out what you need to know when it comes to finding quality swim lessons. According to the CDC, the #1 cause of death for children ages 1 to 4 is drowning. And in nearly 70% of those cases, it happens during non-swim times. Suzanne Wantlin is the operations director at the YMCA of Bristol. She's here to talk to us about the importance of survival swim classes. Suzanne, what can you tell us?
What they found is that most classes start at 3, and children are at risk all the way from 1 to 4. And so the earlier you can get them into survival swim lessons, some kind of that lesson like that, then the better chance they have that if they are in a non-swimming time, a non-supervised time, that they would be able to at least sustain themselves until hopefully help could come.
What are the most important things that someone should look for in a swimming lesson? If they're signing up, let's check these boxes.
So you want to make sure that you have a low participant to instructor ratio. You also want to make sure that they're working on things like being able to get on their back, floating on their back, being able to take a breath, hold a breath. If they do go into the water, where do they look to be able to get out? And we work on actually getting out of the pool or being able to get to a ladder or stairs where they can get out.
Let's talk about the layers of protection, because as we said, nearly 70% of the cases involve non-swim times. A child sneaks out from a family gathering. A child goes through a gate that is supposed to be locked. Talk about those layers of protection.
So the layers of protection, yes, you need to make sure that there are fences and gates around pools and that you check them regularly, because you never know if somebody's come in and out and it's not latched well, and children watch and they get very interested in what's going on, and you don't want it to accidentally not be latched very well and then be able to get out. You also need to make sure that if it is swim time, that they're being supervised. And if you have a child and you don't know where they are and you have a pool, look there first.
The YMCA offers a one-on-one survival swim class called Little Floaters. You can go to our website, WCYB.com, for a link to that and other quality survival swim lessons offered locally. This is National Water Safety Month, and a local teenager is sharing her story after losing her 3-year-old brother Levi to drowning.
Tell me about his personality.
He's just such a Tasmanian devil. Okay, he loved chocolate cake and chocolate ice cream and all things sugar. He loved to be outside. He loved the bugs. He caught a frog one time, and he had an oversized t-shirt on, and I showed a picture of him holding a frog, and he's like the happiest little boy. And anytime I look at it, I just cannot help but smile.
In a pool while the family was on vacation 6 years ago. 15-year-old Lily Hughes is now on a mission to raise awareness about drowning. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, it's the leading cause of death for children ages 1 to 4. The operations director at the YMCA of Bristol, Suzanne Wantlin, says swim lessons are a huge part of preventing drowning.
Main thing that we really look for is to make sure that the child's going to be safe around water. Can they turn on their back and breathe? Can they float? Do they know how to have breath control? Those are three of the main things that you need to know. We also want them to have a healthy respect for the water so that we're not always catching them, because if we're not there to catch them and they go in, they need to know what that's going to be like, because experience is a really strong teacher.
Put your kids in swim lessons because it takes just a few seconds for a kid to lose life. Those few seconds of air can be the thing that saves them.
I'll bring you more of Lily Hughes' story and have more details about the importance of quality swim lessons tonight on News 5 at 11. Another summer danger? Water. This month is National Water Safety Month, and I spoke with experts about drowning prevention. I also talked with a teenager and her mom who are now advocates for survival swim lessons after the family lost their 3-year-old Levi to drowning. They've gotten to know other families who have also lost children to drowning, and Levi's mom, Nicole Hughes, shares the real-life examples involving real families and how quickly it can happen.
You're looking at what is the #1 reason my child won't live to age 4. It is drowning. And so then you have to say, okay, what about that with drowning? And it's the non-swim time every time. It's just like Levi, who's in a room full of people. It's at the birthday party when everybody's opening the presents. You go inside of the clubhouse to open the presents and everyone's distracted and somebody slips back outside. It's the 4th of July party when everybody's in the car, you think, and you run back inside to get the casserole dish and the 3-year-old makes it back to the pool.
You can help prevent drowning. We can help prevent drowning through awareness and through these lessons and through the message getting out there.
The main thing that we really look for is to make sure that the child's going to be safe around water. Can they turn on their back and breathe? Can they float? Do they know how to have breath control? Those are three of the main things that you need to know. We also want them to have a healthy respect for the water so that we're not always catching them, because if we're not there to catch them and they go in, they need to know what that's going to be like, because experience is a really strong teacher.
The YMCA of Bristol offers a survival swim class called Little Floaters. For a link to that and other quality survival swim classes offered in our area, go to WCYB.com. Coming up tonight on News 5 at 11, I'll have more on the Hughes family story.